When I was 15, me and a couple of my friends shared a beer. The first drink of alcohol that I took, I felt a sense of euphoria and relax in my mind I had never felt. Everything kind of just, slowed down a little bit. And that was something I started chasing. The second time I drank alcohol, blacked out, puked. For a lot of people, alcoholism is a thing that progresses. For me, it was, hey, this is the second time alcohol's ever entered your body and you're blacked out and puking. So actually I bought this in the parking lot of a 12-step meeting. It's 1974 Guild acoustic guitar, made in the USA. Probably has a lot of stories. This, all of this is from someone playing with long fingernails, not using a pick, and then I play with a pick, so it's not for me. This is a pick guard that's been added. But yeah, it's my cabin guitar. I love this thing. So yeah, this one for the most part just stays here. This is all acoustic. I can't plug it into anything, so if I wanted to record with it, it has to be on a mic. When I was a kid, I had a lot of energy. I couldn't sit still. I played sports and got bad grades, not because I wasn't as smart as the other kids, but because I could not come home from school and do homework. I couldn't sit in study hall and do homework. I couldn't pay attention in class. My role in school was always to just basically disrupt the teacher to try to get out of homework, get her off task, him or her off task. Class clown type. ADHD and addiction are related things. Before I ever used a drug or drank, this was already a part of me. My childhood was fun. I have so many good memories of growing up. But the reality of it, or the thing that I understand about myself now that is 100% true, is that I had undiagnosed ADHD from my earliest memories. So I was in wrestling, and I was decent at it, but I was never like great or elite. My cousins were. But what I would do is we'd go to a wrestling tournament in another town, and I was small, so I'd wrestle like first, and then I'd have to wait for all the bigger kids to wrestle. But in that time in between, I was in the cafeteria eating soft serve ice cream, drinking chocolate milk, like just anything to satisfy, like, now I have this thought about ice cream, so now I have to have it. So that looks like addiction. The way that I discovered that I have ADHD as an adult is because as an adult, I was binge eating. And I went to a psychologist who, after a couple sessions, just said, well, you've told me a couple times already you have ADHD, and it doesn't go away. It just kind of changes its face as an adult.
How's it going?
Pretty good. How are you?
Oh, getting some food in me, so that's good.
That's a good thing.
Yep.
If you were to frame the environment and the circumstances of growing up, like, I had the best environment. My parents were together. They didn't drink or use drugs. I grew up in a small town. I had all the support a kid would ever want. I could go play with all my friends all the time. I was never abused or harmed or anything. There's a thing called ACE, which I just learned about the other day, where basically they ask you 10 questions. All of those questions for me were no. That means that the environment that I grew up in was a very solid, good environment. So people who have substance use disorder, they don't all come from bad homes or bad parents or people with trauma in their childhood. It's not that I can't concentrate or focus, it's actually that I'm focusing on everything at once, you know, or everything, like, oh, what's that? Oh, what's this? Everything catches my eye. I consider ADHD, untreated ADHD, a learning disability. That's what it was for me. And I would believe that, like, well, I'm not as smart as the other kids. Even though my intelligence is high, I just believed I wasn't as smart because I couldn't pay attention. I could not focus. I did not get good grades. My report cards all said, Brandon could go so far if he would just pay attention, or if he just applied himself. That was the big one. If he just applied himself. I'd start a new semester and I would try the first few weeks, and then just like I couldn't keep it together. And I got disruptive behavior. Like, here's my grade, and then the notes next to it is disruptive behavior. And also in high school, marijuana. Smoked marijuana all the time. And so, like, I'm not trying to, like, blame substance use on ADHD at all, or saying, like, this is the excuse or the reason why. But looking back on it, I know that I was self-medicating. I was trying to find, I was trying to feel different. I was trying to change the way my mind worked, which is exactly what ADHD medication does, or the therapies, you know, that the tools you can learn is what that does. One of which is yoga and meditation. Slows you down, gets the chatter to calm down. Playing guitar is that way. It's hard to play guitar when you're in 10 different places in your mind. And that's what ADHD is. I used to park my car here. I'd drive it drunk and park it here, and then try to convince my folks that I left it here before I drank. And I'd walk home another block here down this alley. Most of the time I'd wake up in the morning and not realize where my car even was. Sometimes it was parked in the driveway, sometimes in the grass, sometimes up there. Sometimes I didn't know where at all. Couldn't find it. One time my mom told me that I ran over the neighbor girl and killed her, and for 5 seconds I believed her. Wasn't enough to get me to quit though. Not then anyway. Told Ollie Blues. Here's Rick Randass.
Catch me another ride there.
What do you mean catch you another ride there?
Aren't you scared to pick up hitchhikers?
Just picked you up.
What's the chance of two serial killers being in the same car, right?
Well, if you're a serial killer and I'm a serial killer, then I guess who's gonna get who, right?
Yeah, that's what I say. What's the chances of two of us?
Are you admitting that you're a serial killer on film? Sounds like it.
For rice checks, wheat checks, that kind of good stuff.
Rice checks and wheat checks?
Well, there's not very cars at this bar, was there?
Not
Did you
too
come
many.
up the street?
Yeah, I came up the street.
Work Progress Admitter Station, 1936. You ought to get a picture of that. And if you want your water bill emailed to you,
Do you want yours emailed to you? I'm gonna set this up. It's really nice. I don't know. Does it really matter if you're not that good anyway?
who's paying this bill? Besides that, you can make so damn much money you can afford it. Hey, there's an easier way to do that. You could walk up the stairs, break your neck before you get your first recording contract.
Oh, you're implying I'll get one. Okay, so I'm gonna tune my guitar.
You can tune a guitar, but you can't tune a fish. You knew that.
So when I should just be calmly just waiting or whatever for the next match to start, be thinking about how I'm gonna approach it, because I thought about ice cream, I'm fucked. Now I gotta go get some in the cafeteria. And then I do that, and then I just lay on the mat because I got a bellyache. My uncle told me that all the time. If you won't go to the cafeteria between matches and just lay on the mat your second match, you'd be a lot better. Understood. And I did it every time. It's not like I didn't understand it. And that's how addiction is too. People who use and drink, who know they have a problem with it, they don't, it's not like a logical brain thing. If I do this, then this is gonna happen, so I'm not gonna do this. It's an overpowering thing. I have a thought of getting a king-size candy bar when I'm driving down the road. If I think about it more than once, I'm gonna stop and get one. It's just impossible at times to not. And for me, that's ADHD and addiction.
You said the second time you tasted alcohol, that peach schnapps, you ended up blacking out, puking. You know, obviously the next day rolls around, maybe you're feeling your first hangover or whatnot. What made you want to do it again?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, you know, the second time that I drink alcohol, I end up blacking out, puking, wake up the next day in terrible shape. I'm quite sure I got in trouble too. I couldn't hide it. Why would I ever want to drink again? I don't know. I'm sure it wasn't long after that I was drinking again. I think maybe part of it is, well, this time I'll just drink less. I'll try to control it. This time, if I can just stick to 1 or 2 drinks, I'll be fine. The number of times I've said that to myself, I can't count them. So many times. Like, even as an adult, go to the bar, oh, we're just gonna have 1 or 2. That's an impossible thing for me. Knowing that, why would a person continue to drink? Yeah, I think because for me, until I understood that I actually can't control the substance at all, it can never go into my body, I think I can control it. The thing about marijuana is that it's like a slower burn. Alcohol for me is, if I left here and like went downstairs and had a drink, my life would unravel overnight because I would do something really foolish. I would drive, for sure. I would say something to somebody bigger than me probably. I mean, I would just get annihilated because that's what alcohol just absolutely changes who I am. Marijuana is a thing where like, I can actually get some benefits out of it at first. I can get into a flow state when I'm playing guitar. I can get a deeper meditation when I'm doing yoga. I can get some benefits from it until the addict part of me cannot just have a little bit and be satisfied. I start with a half an edible, and then I'm only going to stick to that. I'm never going to smoke it, because smoking, it's a different thing. These are the things I'm telling myself in my head. And if I stick to the oil, the tinctures that have CBD in it, there's a benefit to it. And there is. It makes my body feel better. And if there was a part of me that could actually not ever let it cross that line, I'd probably be okay. I probably wouldn't have had to have gone to treatment for it. I didn't like school. If baseball was my thing, if baseball wasn't a spring sport, I wouldn't have graduated high school. If baseball was a fall sport, I would have played baseball in the fall and I'd have stopped going. So I stopped drinking alcohol. I smoked pot all the time, but I stopped drinking alcohol my senior year, I don't know when, in the winter. So I would make sure I'm eligible. And then when we made it into the playoffs and I was pitching, and it was the last day of school and we were going to have a senior party, and I hadn't drank in several months, but I had older friends who would buy alcohol. So I have a couple kegs in my car, and if we win the game, I'm not going to drink and we're just going to keep going about our business playing baseball. If we lose the game, then the season's over, and I'm pitching, and I'm not doing bad, but I would have games where, like, either I'm just on fire and I'm striking everybody out, or I'm struggling and getting in my own head. And this was one of those games where it was actually like a mixture of both. It was a tough opponent, but the whole time I'm pitching, all I'm thinking about is those kegs in my car. I want to win the game, don't get me wrong. I want to strike everybody out. I want to win the game, but the obsession is there. When I was 21 and I was not drinking, I got into music, and I got into my first band, and it was a blast. And to this day, like, I love those people that I was in that band with. The band's name was Kludge, and it was so much fun. We went on a little tour, and I never drank a drop of alcohol while I was in that band. And the next band I was in, with half of the same people, I started drinking. And it was a band that I helped to start, and then I got kicked out of it because of my drunkenness. Because I'd show up to shows, liquor drunk. I was sometimes mean and out of control. When I was 24, 25, 26, those years for me were my rock bottom years. They were absolutely dark. Another contributor to that is, when I went to school, it was for electrical construction. And then I worked underground electrical and would get laid off in the winter. So in the winter I didn't have to work, but I would still get some unemployment. But yeah, just the days are short, I don't have much money, and I'm spending all of it on alcohol in excess. And yeah, I can't manage my own life at all. Yeah, it was like being a young adult and partying, that's supposed to be fun. It wasn't. I know that I'm in a unique situation, which is another reason why I wanted to make this film, because I'm in a situation where I have just about a decade's worth of recovery, of good recovery, no using. And then I have a couple years where I was California sober, as they call it, which is I'm still doing all the stuff except for I'm getting stoned. And then because I have substance use disorder, my use ramps up. Situations in my life aren't. I got really off track. Part of the misery, actually, that I'm going through while I'm using marijuana is that I know, like, I shouldn't be using it, and I know that it's not good for me for my recovery. And yeah, I ended up in a state where I was angry all the time, and I was thinking about suicide all the time. You know, not making a plan, not attempting it, but thinking about it. Like, I'm overwhelmed and I'm depressed and things aren't working out, and it's this person's fault and it's that person's fault. And deep down, I know that it's actually just me, but I can't stop. So that's a dangerous spot to be in. I'm somebody who has good recovery and understands it, and I'm a spiritual person, and I still find myself in a spot where, hey, suicide is an option.
A short time later, that young girl, she came up then, and it looked awful suspicious. That's not how the paper read. July food. July food. I just this moment.
I mean, I love music. I like writing music, but I also like cover songs. But I guess, didn't really know the point of just like doing a few cover songs for a film or for an album or whatever you want to call it, without it meaning something. So decided to dedicate a few songs to some people that have passed from substance use or suicide, people that I know, and it's had an effect on me, and it's the same illness that I deal with, or the same difficult thing that can end in tragedy.
All his rage, the man from Waco, the city.
They're real people. They're people who are in my life who have passed from the same illness that I have. It's a condition that doesn't go away. So it just changes maybe the substance or, but a lot of times it leads to suicide. And that's what I am afraid of.
The man from Waco.
Scott C. was a friend of mine from a 12-step meeting, and he would talk and about the same thing that I'm saying, not about using marijuana, but just about like how he needs to get his program on track and how like he's down, but he'll be okay, and then he's not, and then he kills himself, and that really stuck with me because that's when he talks, I relate to it. Oh, I totally understand where you're at, Scott. And then when he ends his life, a lot of people in recovery, they don't even go back to using. I don't think he went back to using. He just ended his life. So that is a very scary thing for me, to know I can relate to this so much, and that person committed suicide.
The part of you feels like you see yourself in him.
100%. I was going to an AA meeting for several years that he went to, and I mean, even after he passed, I was going to it for quite a while, and one of the people there, who I have a lot of respect for and has been in the program a long time, stood up and asked, how do we identify these signs when people like us are, considering suicide, or like, How do we identify that, and how do we prevent it and help? And I don't have the answer to that question. I don't know. I mean, I do know that if someone reaches out to you and says like, hey, I'm thinking about killing myself, obviously you take that seriously and you talk to them, and then you work through whatever it is. And if that person needs to go somewhere professionally, then you help them get that. But in so many situations, it doesn't get to that. I don't know how you prevent it. I know that there's obviously signs. People have signs when they're depressed or suicidal, and I've had all those same signs. I like to think that if I was going to kill myself, I would have done it when I was a teenager, because I feel like that was a way harder situation for me, you know, when there's so much confusion about what's going on with you. Now I'm an adult and I understand the confusion. I just can't seem to get past it, or I'm angry. A lot of times it's anger. This fucking guitar stays in tune so good. It becomes a heavy subject. It becomes a thing where like I can relate to it, and I don't know the answer. This is for my friend Scott, who passed away a while back. The summer season is turning cool, although the days are still hot. I've been losing my greens, kinda like the cottonwood trees, holding on to what they've got. Hello, Dodge City, tell me how do you do? Tonight I plan on making Denver. Coming in from the east, I ain't gonna miss it in the least. Pardon me for saying so. She had a white dove in her hand. Last night I dreamed of a long black sedan. Across the plains I swear I heard her call, and he took me to the end of Wichita. The snow-white Rockies move from north to south, sort of like the life I left behind. I'll tell you something true, every little thing I do, I stay lonely all the time. She had a white dove in her hand. Last night I dreamed of a long black sedan. Across the plains I swear I heard her call, and it took me to the end of Wichita. The summer season is turning cool, although the days are still hot. after I graduated from high school, my friends all of my age all went off to college, and I didn't go to college. I wasn't going to go to college. So what I did is I stayed back home, and I hung out with the people a year younger than me, but I wasn't in school, and I was just drinking and using. And I was doing nothing with my life. And that was the first time that I admitted that I had a problem to my parents, to my mom specifically. Hey, Mom, I have a drug and alcohol problem. And she already knew. I was stealing opioids and drinking and doing other drugs, anything I could get my hands on when I'm 18 years old. I ended up moving out of my hometown, which is 240 people about, to the bigger town that I went to high school in. That's 5,000 people. Got a little crappy house and just used.
Having any luck? No? Nice enough day, though.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I can't go much like this.
Yeah.
My first treatment was great. I loved it. Like learning all the stuff and like connecting with the people, hearing people share their story to me, and me, like, damn, that sounds just like me. And then to see people who have been sober for a while, like, you haven't drank or used in 90 days. That is incredible. And now I see people you haven't had a drink in 40 years. That's awesome. When it was a problem for you, you know? So, but because I didn't actually go to any meetings then. I just did the treatment, thought I was good, and for a year and a half, I didn't use, but I didn't do any of the work that a program or like the 12 steps that you would do, because that's a life thing. It's not just only the first step mentions alcohol. Everything else is just about how to manage your life. I didn't do any of that, and then just one day, I can't even tell you why, just pulled in a liquor store, bought a 12-pack of Milwaukee's Best Light. It's like the grossest beer on the planet. I don't know why I picked that. Drank all of it, and it was on for 10 years. This is what I was thinking at the time, and it made sense to me, so that's why I went and did it. I don't know why. It was just like an impulse. During the time that I'm not drinking and I'm a young adult and things are starting to improve in my life, I wasn't working any sort of program. I certainly wasn't going to meetings or like doing yoga or anything like that. I was just like, everything I was doing was driven by ego. That led me right into just like, I got this. And then, yeah, I did not have it because I started drinking, and I went back to the treatment place after I started drinking and admitted to them I was drinking, asked for advice, knew I shouldn't be doing it, but still just like, I didn't find a program, I didn't find a sponsor, I didn't find any sober friends that would I just thought I could. When I first started again, I thought I could control it. When I realized I couldn't, then it was just like too late. Now I just can't stop doing it. Now I want more of it. I have an illness that if left untreated, it's a guarantee that I'll use. Drink, use, whatever you want to call it. It's an absolute. Oh, that's nice. Oh, some good ones. Perfect. Roger Sizemore was a guy. He worked at the same company that I worked at, and he was from the South. He was from Atlanta, or from Georgia, and I had gotten to know him over like maybe a 5 or 6 year period at the company I worked at, and Roger liked to drink a lot, and I had a few. He knew that I didn't drink, and we had a few good conversations about, I don't push it on people, but we had a few good conversations about, you know, what life might look like if he didn't drink and that kind of thing. And the last season that we worked together, I was making more and more videos of me just playing guitar and singing. And, you know, just for fun, I did a song called Mississippi Mud by Hank Williams III. And he's totally dug it. He thought, you know, hey, he came into my office at the end of the last season that I worked at that company just to tell me, hey, I figured out how to get my Bluetooth speaker hooked to my phone. If you make any more of those videos, will you send them to me? Because I really dig them. And it sounds like something small, but that meant a lot to me. So then what ends up happening is I leave that job in the worst way because I'm using and have resentments towards some of the people there. And I leave the job over the winter, and then in the spring, he comes back to work, but I don't work there anymore. And then a couple months into the season, he dies in a rollover. Nothing to it, man. Roger had a great soul. He was a good guy, you know, the same issues that I have when it comes to drinking alcohol. The song that I've dedicated to him is by Charlie Crockett. It's called All the Way from Atlanta. And it's just exactly his story. I didn't write the song, but it's the perfect song for it. And I think he would dig it. His life is worth mentioning in a film, you know? It's for my buddy Roger, who passed away this last spring. Came here all the way from Atlanta. With nothing but losing to my name. I saw Shreveport through a window against a curtain made of pines, and I was crying when I made Dallas so much, yet I thought it was rain. I pulled in to the town of Amarillo to buy myself a little bit of relief. I thought I saw her as I passed Gallup, standing outside the El Rancho. But I was mistaken. My imagination was just playing tricks on me. I find myself crossing the Great Mojave,
lady keeping the red and white lights company. She was born in Houston, raised up in Tennessee, but she lives in Georgia with me. So if you see her, would you please tell her I'm all the way from Atlanta. I'm all the way from Atlanta. I cried all the way from Atlanta. Yes, sir, Roger. That wasn't terrible, probably.